said that this is Jesus the Christ, the God of Christianity. And they teach these people that this is God, period. That this God, this European image, is synonymous with the Creator. Totally incorrect. Then Islam has Allah. Then Judaism has Yahweh, Jehovah, etc., etc. These are the gods of these various religions. But one has to realize, since all religions are man-made, that man created God in his own image. Man created God for these various religions. These religions, using God, which the God or the word God can only be used for religious purposes only. That's what it was intended for. Now, what happens to an individual who embraces a religion is that they entice that human being to come outside of him, of their spiritual power, of their indwelling spirituality that their Creator gave them at the time of their birth, to come outside of that, and what they give you in its place of your indwelling spirituality and your Creator, in other words, it disconnects you from your Creator, that they give you God in its place. So therefore, you take all that spiritual power that your Creator gave you, free at the time of your birth, and you inject it into this dead God, or this dead white man on the cross, or into some kind of Allah, or some kind of Jehovah, and etc., etc. See? So therefore, this keeps us into total confusion. We can never find our way back to our ancestral roots and our ancestors as being the great people that they are, the ancient Egyptians. We have to go and find our way back to ancient Egypt. That's what we have to do. No place, no other country in Africa will give us back our greatness, but the culture, the civilization that was created in Egypt during the time of antiquity by an African people that is known to us today as the ancient Egyptians.
Brother Williams, Brother Walter, you said that that Egypt is the only historical place in Africa that will give us back the full understanding of our history and our greatness and our impact to the rest of the world. But perhaps you will define for us what encompassed Egypt. When we say Egypt, what location, what territory are we talking about? What people are we talking about?
Well, you see, you have to go back into the time of antiquity. The term antiquity means ancient times. And you go back and look at your world map, and you look and find in the continent of Africa the country called Egypt. That was all part of it. And then you look, as you go south, you'll find a country on the right-hand side of your map called Ethiopia. And then you look on the left-hand side, across from Ethiopia is the Sudan. And then you will understand that inside of Egypt, there were living a people called Nubians. So what I'm saying is that the Nubians, the ancient Egyptians, the Ethiopian, the Sudanese who live in the Sudan are all one and the same, simply because they made up what is known as the Nile Valley civilization. The ancient Egyptian had an ancient Egyptian African Commonwealth. And under that umbrella of the Commonwealth of ancient Egypt encompass these land areas, these geographical land areas that I just mentioned to you just a moment ago, that created the existence of the Nile Valley civilization.
I'd like to ask you as a beginning point, because I think that this is going to be a very exciting and explosive exploration. We're talking about history. But you just laid out for me history. When history began, who wrote history, how it evolved, And I'd like for you to go through that whole process again, because we're not going to understand what you're talking about as we proceed unless we first get a deep understanding of what we mean by history, when it begins, who wrote it, who established it, what did they encompass, and how they did it.
Okay. First place, you have to